Today in the gym, I did a few additional exercises and tests to reduce my wellness age. Or not to reduce it, but to first of all get a glimpse of what it actually would be. Currently I'm 28 years old, soon 29, and my wellness age is determined on the Technogym machines, and on the Technogym hub that looks like this was 24 after all of these tests. This is what it looks like if you are standing in front of it. And this is what it looks like then in English. There are a couple of different categories. The first is cardio, then we have body mobility, sometimes called flexibility, balance, mind and strength. It is actually quite remarkable that someone put all of this together. Previously, I had a mind score of 99 out of 100, but I only did one test. There are 3 tests available. The first one is for brain speed, the second one is for attention, and the third one is for memory. For the brain speed, I got 25 milliseconds, which I don't know how it compares to reaction time. I then figured I could do the 2 others. Now this is the attention one. There was basically this picture, and then there were 2 different cars, either this one or the other one that appeared. Afterwards, there appeared one, basically on one of these spots, there appeared this Route 66 sign, and then it got increasingly faster. It looked like this. I had to basically then select the car, and then I had to select where the route sign was, the Route 66. The third mind test then was a coin memory test. So there were coins and I had to then remember. So basically they were wiped away, and then I had to remember which coin was not there before. So now they are going to be wiped away, and now I have to remember which is the coin that what is the coin that was not there before. I kind of felt like a monkey in one of these studies. After I did the memory test, so this was now the third one, I think. The second one I failed, apparently. I got a poor score and only 5. I don't know what this 5 stands for. I then decided to repeat the attention test. Also, I filmed before, so therefore maybe I was not the most attentive. And then I got a 41 out of 100 out of all of these 3 tests. I also did them at my circadian night, not circadian night, but circadian evening, which was also the evening of the day. My attention now is 998 milliseconds, which I don't know, it seems to be fair. Then we have the brain speed, which is still at 25 milliseconds, excellent. And the memory at 5, which is poor. Now, to a certain extent, obviously, it might be the case that if I do this in the morning, that I might have a slightly better score. For the balance test, one has to lift one leg, and then one has a target in the middle of one's torso. And this target, then one has to basically center, or there is a basically circle, and in this circle one has to center the target. And now, depending on how many of the 20 seconds one basically is in the circle, one then gets a score. So this is now the second test. Yesterday I did the first one, but I did not really understand the test. So now I have 18 seconds out of the 20 for the left side and 17.4 for the right side, which both are excellent. So I got an 88 out of 100. The mobility test I already did yesterday, and I figured there might not be the biggest of a difference. I do have a slight pain or injury in my shoulder. These are the different mobility tests. So the shoulders are tested, the neck, one moves the head from side to side, the hips by basically doing this stretch, which I don't know what it is called, and then also this other one, which is testing the ankles. For the category body, there is an in-body scale on which one can stand on, and it has additional handles. It sends a small current through the body and then determines the body composition. I did this yesterday already after I did 500 kilocalories on the Assault Bike Pro X, so there might be these results might be slightly skewed. Also, I was not basically fasted, which would be better for such measurements. I got a 79 out of 100. I also got a body percent fat mass of now not 15.8%, which is the one from a Garmin Index S2. And here we already can see that there's quite a difference. But if we click on this graph and we click on see all data, then we see here that 6.7% is the actual measurement from the in-body scale. And this difference seems to kind of persist. I assume to a certain extent that my lower body maybe has more fat. Therefore, if I stand on the Garmin Index S2, which are all of these other values which are automatically pulled in by the Garmin integration, that therefore my Garmin scale measures slightly higher, but also the in-body scale might just have a different algorithm. I don't really know. I would like to err it more on the conservative side, that basically it estimates a higher body fat than I actually have, then it measures or estimates a lower body fat than I actually have. Also, due to the problem with standardization, So the in-body scale, not the in-body scale, the Garmin scale I have at home, I can stand on every single day in the morning. So I can standardize the measurement as good as I can. In the morning I go to the bathroom and then I stand on this scale. But if I'm at the gym, then I'm there to train. Therefore, ideally I am sufficiently hydrated, and ideally I also have eaten before to reduce the metabolic stress of the food already with exercise. Therefore, I'm unsure whether I should continue to take these in-body tests and also in which way. Now, in the body category of the wellness age, it only shows these couple of different metrics. So the weight, the total body water, the total body water in percent, then we have the percent fat mass, skeletal muscle mass. Now we also already see that it does not prefer the values from just the in-body scale, but it also takes the values from my Garmin scale and overrides basically the old values, which is what I expected, not expected, but I hoped that it would do. This would allow me to now not have or rely on the in-body scale measurements, but to still continue to take my Garmin INEX S2 measurements. I also find it very useful that everything can be basically seen in this one app, and we also can see that there is free training which is still in progress, which is from me basically training in the gym. Now we already have the categories, not strength, we will go into strength later on. We already have body, which is body composition. Mobility, we also already have covered. We have covered the 3 mind tests, which only can be done on this not eGym, but Technogym Hub. eGym would be the other company that offers something very similar, which I also already tested. And then we have the balance thing, which I also already explained. So what is left is cardio as well as strength. Now into cardio. In this case, cardio only consists of VO2 max. I did not decide to manually enter my resting heart rate from Garmin, for example, which could be entered, I assume. So we go under cardiovascular, and there I could enter my blood pressure, resting heart rate, max heart rate, and resting heart rate. I could enter those, but this creates a problem. So I basically have to figure out how often to synchronize this. And in an ideal world, since the Garmin integration already exists, it would basically take the blood pressure I measure every morning with the Garmin Index BPM, so the blood pressure monitor from Garmin, and it also would take basically my max heart rate from Garmin, which is also automatically calculated, and also my resting heart rate, and also figure out which it actually wants, so which interval it actually wants. So in terms of resting heart rate, for example, there would be different intervals one could maybe want. Maybe one wants the 7-day interval, maybe one wants the 4 weeks, or even the yearly average. And so if there would be an integration that automatically pulled the average resting heart rate in, then this would be more useful compared to me having this to figure out on my own and potentially also making mistakes and maybe also forgetting to manually put it in. And of course also the time cost. Thus, I figured I would not put in manual data as I did with eGym. I used to go to a Fitness First gym which had this eGym BioAge calculation, and here we can see that it is quite similar. And here I decided to manually put in once a week my Garmin VO2 max, my Garmin blood pressure and resting heart rate. But I also had to figure out in which intervals I would want to sync this data and also which averages maybe I would want to put in. The cardio, in this case, the VO2 max estimate, was actually calculated using an elliptical. So there are a couple of different endurance machines in my gym, and I can do a VO2 max test on the Stairmaster, on the elliptical, also on the treadmill, and also on the bike. I tried it on the elliptical, and this is where this value is from. Then we have the strength, which is now the last category. And here we can see that now I have 3 different values. And these are values I recorded today. So there are these machines in my gym, which are made by Technogym, but these are now not the BioStrength Technogym machines. So the Technogym BioStrength machines are the same or very similar machines to the eGym machines. So first of all, these are now machines that are kind of completely automated. So one can basically go to these machines, and then there are different programs one can choose, and then the resistance is automatically set. Then there are also stack weight machines in my gym. So machines like these, but these also do have a display, and one can also do 1 rep max tests at these machines. And this is what I recorded the max strength tests with. So it only seems to have now taken 3. I actually did more, and I don't know if it only displays the ones that are on target, but I did basically these 3 different ones. The first one was leg curl. I also did actually a leg press and a calf press, and then I also did this here. And now this gives me a 66 out of 100. I don't know which additional ones I actually could do. It also showed me a couple of a couple of recommendations of which I should do, but I unfortunately did not take pictures of these recommendations. Now, since it does put in additional data, we can take a look at the favorites I have. For example, I have the fat mass in percent, which is from the Garmin INXS 2. I do have the VO2 max, but the Garmin VO2 max estimate is not pulled in. I do have the muscle mass, which now again is the Garmin INXS 2 value, because the in-body test was yesterday, and today I again stood in the morning on my Garmin INXS 2. Then we also have body fat mass, which is again from the Garmin INXS 2. Then we have brain speed, which I also put on favorite, and the balance index. I just took a few of these new metrics. Then we can take a look at body composition. What the in-body scale additionally measures is very many things. For example, the fat-free mass percent of trunk compared to the ideal. I don't know what this exactly is, and also there is no additional information in this. It would be useful if there was a little explainer or something like this, such that I could learn on my own more about this. Then we also have balance, so we do have the balance index. I do have a score of 87 out of 100. I can see my trend. I can also see my trend compared to last time, and then I also can see this year compared to last time, but unfortunately, it seems to be the case that it shows only basically for the March. So I can go into month, and then we can see basically yesterday I had 7 seconds, and today I had 17.4 seconds. Now I also do have cognitive. The only thing that comes close to also having this cognitive measurement with reaction speed is Brian Johnson's Don't Die app, and this is the program that is running my gym to a certain extent. So there are these machines in my gym, and I also can scan them, I can connect to them, I also can do a VO2 max test on these machines, and then it is automatically synchronized to my account into this, and it gives me a biological age calculation. With eGym, at least in the gym I visited, this was not possible, even though I kind of researched on the internet that eGym also does a cardiovascular assessment with Matrix machines, but this program was not installed on the machines in the gym I visited before, since this was kind of not the premium range of these gyms. I also can see my different values I have from Garmin, such as my HRV and my breathing rate, my O2 saturation, and also my sleep metrics, which are totally useless at this point in time, which is also the reason I took them out of the metrics I have displayed here, because it often records like 16 hours of sleep a day, sometimes 24 hours on my Garmin Fenix 6S Pro. Then I also have performance metrics, in this case only VO2 max, the estimate again from the elliptical. Then I also have mobility in here, but this is not so well made, I would say, or I would have to say, at least if I compare this to the flexibility measurement in the eGym BioAge calculation, because here I do have an interpretation. I do have the angles or the degrees, and then I have basically a interpretation, which is this good, is this normal, is this excellent? I now also have different other measurements, and some of these were actually calculated, it seems, from the in-body measurement, such as my waist circumference. I did not decide to manually put this in, even though I used to measure this once weekly. I also can input a few clinical metrics such as my LDL, my total cholesterol, but these are not taken into account in the wellness age, I think.